Hello, folks, and welcome to the Relationship Builder TV. I am your host, Joy, and this is my husband, Bobby. So, anyway, we come on here, every now and then we show up and we talk to you about, relationships. We do commentaries. We talk about ourselves. We talk about what other people are
Just
struggling
about
with.
everything of relationship.
Yeah, we talk relationships back and forth, up and down, sideways. So anyway, what I'm going to be talking about today is what people really are afraid of when they get in relationships. I know we touch on this stuff, but I really want to focus, the energy on that tonight. So when we go into relationships, what is it that we are really, really afraid of? What drives our behavior? And I'm bringing this up because I really want people to look at themselves and really ask themselves why they're not succeeding or why they're not getting the relationships they want. You're a single person, you've been single for years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, whatever. But what is it that's driving the behavior? What is it that you really are afraid of why you can't sustain that relationship? It's so easy to be outer directed and put it on the other person or the other people. But this is a real moment to look at yourself and ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What is that thing that causes me to continually run away from relationships or really not give, my heart and my soul when it comes to relationships? So, Bobby, do you have a thought on maybe what it is
I
that they're
think
afraid of?
one of the number one thing is heartbreak, right? A lot of people are afraid of
Heartbreak.
heartbreak. It's a big, big thing. Because it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants their heart broken. I mean, it's no fun, when you're invested and then that person walk out on you. Because sometimes, a lot of people never fully recover. You know what I mean? And some people, and what I mean by never recover, they will never 100%, you know, allow themselves to love somebody else or leave themselves
Again.
open, so to speak, right? So I think that's one of the number one thing I think. And after that, I think there's a lot of things with money. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to get taken advantage of. People come with them because they know they have money, so they get with them. They don't really love them, just using them, right? So money, I think, is the other one. And just to piggyback off of what I said, some people just don't like to get used. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, whether it just be sexual or what I mean, or you want to just live with somebody and just bum off them, and so it has a whole wide range of things. But those are just the top three that I can think of why people, when they go in a relationship, they're fearful.
I think it's all links back to the first one you mentioned, which is a broken heart. But I see what you're saying. People don't want to be taken advantage of. They don't want to be left. All those things are all to me further breakdowns of heartbreak or being heartbroken because someone is not staying. So yeah, I think that's the major one for men and women that uh, nobody wants to be hurt, right? Nobody wants to be hurt. No one wants to end up alone. Even if we think about, yeah, I don't want to end up by myself. It's still the idea of being heartbroken, maybe from being with somebody that you cared about and thinking they're going to walk out and they're going to leave you. And I have to say that for myself in this relationship for a number of years, I operated in that place of fear. It was challenging. I was like, kind of like Bobby said, he wasn't the guy who came into a relationship really to stay in there, even though he said those words. So I still don't understand that. But anyway, when he came to the relationship, I didn't, I guess, take him as a guy who was a serious guy. I kind of thought, he's in it for a minute and then he'll be out. So as much as I cared about him, I was afraid. Like anything he did, I was just like, I wonder what he's doing. I wonder where he is. I wonder who he could be. Like it just all these things were running through my mind all the time. And it was one day I finally sat with myself, and that was probably years into the relationship. And I said, listen, if you're gonna be with him, you have to decide to just trust him and see where it goes. You're making the choice each day to, cook food for him, be there for him, be beside him, have him around your children, be involved in your family, connect to his family, all those things. And then you're still afraid? Like, what's the point? Right? If you can't jump into something wholeheartedly and take a chance, then really you're not really in the relationship.
Yeah, a lot of
Right?
people, a lot of people in relationship have this one foot in, one foot out mentality. A lot of
Yeah.
them try to tell themselves they're trying to dodge a bullet. You're not Neo in the Matrix. You're not going to dodge bullets. You're going to get hit, or you're just going to stay out of the picture altogether, right? And I feel like at the end of the day, no matter what your fear is, if you carry that fear around you long enough, you're gonna find somebody who's gonna make you live that fear because it's something that you're carrying. And basically, what you think of is what becomes your reality if you think about it long enough. And the thing is, because there's so many negative voice out there, it's blocking people from really wanting to take a chance in relationship. People don't trust people enough anymore to really go that extra mile.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many single people out there because nobody want to trust, nobody want to be the one, right? But everybody wants the end goal, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how the hell are you going to get the end goal if you don't even want to take a chance?
Very true.
We act like we're psychic and we can know, okay, this one is the one for me, or this is not the one for me. And a lot of people who are single right now have given up on a relationship that could have been the one, right? But when you come in with your own negativity and your own, like, I guess, preconceived notion of what's going to happen, then it never happens for you. And that's why I said a lot of times I said, a lot of people are going to die single, and that's just the reality of it. So if you're one of that people that, are letting fear steer your life, then chances are to get the relationship that you want, you're never going to get it because, the minute you get into to do that, if you have an ability to keep running all the time, even when you're in the right kind of relationship, you're going to run away and leave it anyway because that's just your nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of people are road runners when it comes to relationship. They're in it for a while, and the minute they see something they don't want, they're gone. And it goes to like Chris Brown's song that he said, the song called Deuces. He said, you're nothing but a vulture waiting for me to fuck up. And basically, people go into a relationship waiting for somebody to fuck up to say, that's it, that's where I got to go, right?
That's
and then
true.
you go on, you can go for the next 2 years without getting a relationship. And everything is going to be a stop here, one there. And then next thing you know, you're 40 and 50, you're still doing the same thing over and you wonder why you're single, right? If you're want to know why you're single, take the attention off the people that that broke up with you or you broke up with and put the attention on yourself. Because there's a theme that goes through all of the relationship that you've been in, an underlying theme that's always been there. And maybe those people that were telling you all along, but because we're so busy focusing on the other person, you're not seeing and not taking note that, hey, the last guy or the last girl or the last 5 relationships or the last 5 days that I've been in, they've said the same thing. So if you stop paying attention to the people and pay attention to yourself, you can hear, yes, you can start to find out that there's a regular theme that they're all saying. Either, your attitude sucks, or you got male energy, or you're too judgmental, you're too insecure, you're too clingy, whatever the case may be, people are telling you stop. But when you're auto-directed, you can never pay attention to what you're doing wrong. So when you go out of that relationship, you go out of a relationship from a victim mentality after saying, look what he did to me, or look what so-and-so did to me. And the minute you start, and the minute you start saying what the other person did to you, you're a victim. Because victim always gets things done to them, right? So when you have that mentality of thinking they're always doing something to me, then you're rendering yourself a victim and you render yourself powerless because victim has no power, right? So at the end of the day, if you stop looking at what the other person or what the other guy or what the other girl did to you and start paying attention to you and what you're doing, then you can see where you're causing problem in the relationship because it's not all your fault.
We all play an active role, right? We all things are going on between, Bobby and I. Sometimes I say to him, you, and then I have to remember, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, you're a participant in all of this as well. So it's easy to blame the other person, but it doesn't give you results. It doesn't cause anything to change because you're ultimately responsible for yourself. We are not children. So I just want to say it's really interesting how we spend so much time blaming, when we are not children and are responsible for our own actions, but yet we turn around and we blame as though we have no control. Like, you can't change your own, you can't change your own clothes, or you can't get up and go somewhere on your own, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. Kids complain to mommy and daddy because they're not able to do it. Mommy and daddy, can you do this? Or can you change my shirt? Or, I went to the washroom. Can you help me? Kids are powerless. They can't help themselves. So they call on mommy and daddy for everything. But when you're an adult, you are responsible for you. You are not helpless. But every time, like Bobby said, when you point the finger outside and make it all about the other person, yes, we all know, I get it. I'm in a relationship. I understand. I like to blame him for stuff too. It's easy, but it's hard because when I blame him and then he has another point of view and he defends himself, then it goes back to, well, what role did you play in all of this? And it becomes kind of like a tennis match, and it's really a waste of time. If he could look at himself and see what he does to, contribute to our issues, and I can take a look and see what I do, I feel more, I feel kind of more grounded in that, because I feel like, yeah, Joy, you do have choice, right? So you can stay and argue, and arguing, what does that, it doesn't resolve anything. You may as well communicate. One thing I stopped doing a lot of years ago was talking to my girlfriends about my concerns with Bobby. Like, I gave that up years ago. I go to him anytime we have concerns. I go to him and I have conversations with him about our own issues, because the only people who can fix our issues are us.
You know
So,
what? It kind of remind me of the family Chantel, right? Where Chantel, for those people who watch 90 Day Fiance, there's a spin-off called, The Family Chantel. And it was this girl who met this guy from Dominican Republic, married him, and not telling her parents, and brought him up to America. And then at the last minute told her parents that, yeah, this is the guy that she married, and this guy's from another country.
if we can show them a clip, if we can find one
And
for you guys.
yeah, and what happened is every time she had an issue with him, she go and told her parents that, oh, he did this and he did this and do that and do that and da 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 da. What happened over time is the parents started to, after hearing so much complaint about this guy, they start to form an opinion about him. And next thing you know, they think that, oh, this is a scam. There are people in DR that are trying to have this thing where they look for dumb Americans and, get money out them
Blah,
and
blah,
have them
blah.
bring them up and all the other stories and all the other bullshit that
Where you
she says.
yeah.
And as a result of that, her parents form an opinion of this guy. And since then, it's just they've never given this guy a break, right? So when you're taking information or issues that's in your relationship, and you take it to somebody and you tell somebody that your boyfriend or your husband is this kind of person, the picture they're going to have of that person now is what you put in their head. So even when you're trying to say, no, he's a nice guy or she's a nice girl, she's perfect, they're not going to believe that because they hear it from your mouth. He's abusive and he's makes me feel like crap, or, I don't like the way she treats me. And when you go to your parent and you go to your friends, and you tell them things about your relationship, negative things about your relationship, these people are forming an opinion. And that opinion is going to be what they base that person off of. So when they see that person, even if at some point you're trying to paint that picture that he or she's a nice person, too late, because that opinion is already formed already. So now they feel like you're just bullshit. It's like, how do you tell us that, he's such a nice person now, or he's no good, and now you're saying he's a nice person? How do you say that she's good and she all do these things for you, but now, she's this? So you have to be really clear on what you're saying, and even if you're going to do that, put yourself in the position too. Don't make yourself seem like you're a victim. Also make yourself seem like you're doing something wrong. So at least, it's even. But if he or she is that's the thing.
Right,
if he or she is no good, and you're telling your friends and your family that's the image you're going to hold of that person, even when you try to fix it and say they're a good person.
Right. So anyway, I guess Bobby was making a point there, but I guess, at the end of the day, it's just, sharing the information with your family and friends, pointless. Like, you have to look at yourself. We are afraid of being heartbroken. The reason why I didn't go to friends and family was, honestly, he hasn't really done anything much for really me to tell, but girls talk to their girlfriends about their guy and stuff like that, so I learned early on that I could talk to him, that even though he wasn't maybe as open, but I started to go to him. I decided that, even though I was fearful that, this relationship, I was going to handle it differently than I had done the others. And so I started taking steps and started to come to realizations and thought, well, if I go to my girlfriends, they're just going to tell me stuff and then they can't help me fix it. So maybe I should just talk to him. And so I learned early on in our relationship to talk to him more. And even if I talked to him and, I felt hurt or whatever, I still ultimately wanted to fix it. But I mean, a lot of it, was blame towards him. I mean, we got into some points where it's just like, can our relationship survive? But we decided to be much more conscious about it and make the effort to make it work, because, when you get in a relationship, are you getting into them to stay, or are you just getting into them to literally break up? And I think a lot of people are like Bobby said, a lot of people are just jumping into them and almost waiting for the person to do the wrong thing so they can jump out. But I think when you go into relationships, you want to go into them more intentional. Don't worry about heartbreak. I know I say it and you guys are probably going to worry anyway. And I get it. Been there, done that. But I think if you really believe that it can work and you set the intention and you consistently work at it, like I said, Bobby and I have been saying it quite a bit lately. Nobody would have thought we would have made it to like 15 and a half years. I didn't even see, I didn't even see a year, to be honest. But, and that was my thinking then. But the more I got to know him, the more I liked his qualities and all of that. And so it just became more of, yeah, this is a guy that I know I want to spend my time with. He just had so many of the qualities that I realized were heartfelt and really, really important to me. So, when you go into these relationships, keep in mind, open your heart. You know what? You're breaking your heart every time when you go into a relationship and it doesn't work. You're kind of doing the same thing to yourself and you're getting more and more empty, more and more hollow, believing less. And then ultimately, by the time somebody comes along who maybe is more open to working with you, they can't, because I mean there's only a shell of a person there, right? So you got to really keep in mind, just be more conscious in your actions. And if you're going to take a chance with someone, I don't think you should go into relationships expecting the world anyway, but I think just at least give the situation the benefit of the doubt and don't be afraid of heartbreak. Honestly, for all of us who've had broken hearts, and I'm sure all of us can say at some point we've been hurt on some level, you know what? I think all of us can say we've gotten over it safely. So folks, I just want to thank you for your time today. And please like, comment, and subscribe. To let us know what you think. What are your thoughts? Do you believe that heartbreak is one of the major things that people are afraid of, or is there something more? So if you want to add anything, please feel free to let us know. And yeah, we'll see you again in our next video, folks. Bye for now.
Bye bye.